I think you all should be able to hear me just fine. One thing I've never been accused of is having a whisper. So, well, thank you all very much for coming. It's a pleasure to be here at Ithaca College today. My name is Joe Kirkland. I'm a regional account manager with Nolij Corporation. One of my responsibilities is to work with customers work with our current customers who are implemented in New York State and other states in the Mid-Atlantic, as well as work with colleges and universities that are taking a look at enterprise content management. So it's been my pleasure over the last 18 months or so to be working with Ed Fuller, Dave Weil, and several of the other folks in Ithaca College IT, as we have been named as your preferred provider for enterprise content management, and we are currently working through the agreement and the services proposal and implementation plan and all that good stuff. So it's a pleasure to be in the position we're in. So today, this is really an introduction to the broad topic of enterprise content management, but what we'll do is take a look at it in a few contexts of higher education, okay, and the business processes in higher education. A little bit about us first. My top of my screen's cut off a little bit. Is there any way to adjust that? Should have probably tested this out first, but I seem to be sliding around here.
Is PowerPoint sliding around?
It's cutting off the top of the screen. It's probably going to be an issue when we get into the actual presentation. Actually, let me do this. Sorry about this, folks. Should have done this beforehand. Nolij Corporation, a little bit about our organization. We have about 300 customers, all colleges and universities in the United States, Canada, a few in Europe as well. Between our two products, the product you're going to see today, Nolij Web, we also have a data loading product called Nolij Transfer. What that product does is takes data from things like the Common Application, test scores, those services, and loads it automatically into your student information system like Banner, PeopleSoft, things along those lines. We're a vertically integrated software solution provider, a very complicated way to say we're the only company that sells Nolij Web, we're the only company that implements Nolij Web, we're the only company that supports Nolij Web. So everyone that you work with, and will work with hopefully here at IC, will be a Nolij employee. Okay, we've never worked through resellers. We're headquartered outside of Boston, in Beverly, Massachusetts, right up on the North Shore, outside of Boston, around Gloucester and Salem, that area. Been around for about 10 years, a little over 10 years. Our history has always been higher education. Employees, myself included, come from a higher education background. I worked in admissions, a couple of admissions offices at a couple of different universities before I got into the vendor side of things. And our founders and the folks who wrote the software actually came from the company that supplies your current student information system, which was then known as SCT. So these guys came from that specific area. So it's natural that they would develop a product for this industry. And again, exclusive higher education focus that we have as an organization. Okay. Two basic focuses that we've had as an organization from the start. First is to be the technology leader within this vertical, or that serves ECM solutions to higher education. Okay? One of the things that's very nice about Nolij, we've only been around 10 years, and what that provides us with is some nice capabilities around web-based processing. We've always been a web-based application. Some of the other vendors that serve higher education, they've been around a long time, 20 years, 25 years, even more so. The disadvantage that they have in their products is that they have a lot of client-server or Windows baggage with their product. Okay, that makes many of them very Windows dependent. We're a 100% Java solution. What that means is we're completely cross-platform compatible. We run on PCs, we run on Macs, we run on tablets, iPads, Android tablets, mobile phones as well. So we're uniquely positioned to really take advantage of the next generation internet, which you're seeing today with your tablets and everything else. We also knew, and this makes sense based on our background, that for a content management system to be truly useful in higher education, it needs to integrate very tightly with your back office solutions, that being Banner here at IC and Oracle eBusiness. Okay? We've got to integrate with those very closely, and I'll show a couple of different approaches to that integration. And I've already talked about, again, the higher education focus that we have as an organization from both our staff and our development, i.e. functionality that's in the product. Okay, why enterprise content management? Okay. Got here to my left is what, if you go to any industry white papers or so forth, they go through a variety of reasons why an organization should implement enterprise content management. Going green, okay? Great motivation. At the end of the day, though, many of our client motivations are, it's great to go green, but many of our clients have truly space considerations to deal with, especially urban campuses as well, or suburban campuses. I mean, we have freed up tons of space at colleges and universities where their admissions offices had complete walls full of filing cabinet after filing cabinet. That's really one of the basic benefits of enterprise content management system. Industry says as well, ECM, implementation of an ECM can make you as an organization more responsive and more competitive. In higher education, that means reducing cycle times, getting answers out to applicants sooner, getting financial aid packages out sooner, enabling organizations to speed up what are very paper-based manual processes. So again, to make you more competitive and to go and get the best students. Do more with less, says the industry. Industry out there, people have to do more with less. Client motivations, public and private institutions alike today have seen huge enrollment increases over the last 5 years and practically no staff increases. So they're dealing with sometimes 30, 40% more applicants at community colleges, or four-year public universities or private universities without staff, in some cases even less staff. And then again, efficiency and productivity as an organization. So basically, some of the motivations of our customers have been retention of content. So being able to store all of the contracts that you've done with vendors in the past, being able to search on those contracts for certain terms and conditions, being able to keep a full repository of resumes of faculty, for instance, that you might want to be looking at to teach an adjunct, as an adjunct faculty member. Search along the lines of subjects or disciplines that might be on a resume, for instance. So we're really retaining that content. And also, of course, many state and local regulations around how long you need to retain content as well. Local customer, longtime customers, RPI, outside of Albany, New York, Troy. Here's a quote by John Fuchs, one of the folks that is responsible for the care and feeding of Knowledge Web on their campus every day. Really talking about essentially just one of the basic benefits of keeping information and content online. Dartmouth College, another longtime customer as well. Here is a very specific benefit that they saw. Again, very selective institution. Again, spending less time processing, more time reading, and getting answers out to students quicker. Some of our regional customers as well, both private. Colgate is a new customer as well. They're beginning their implementation right now. Clarkson, relatively new customer too. They've just gone live in their admissions office. We talked about a few others, St. Rose and Albany too. Public institutions, see there as well. SUNY Albany, SUNY Stony Brook. Again, one of the most basic benefits that Knowledge Web brought to SUNY Albany, you can imagine the volume of applicants that they have and accepted students. I think their enrollment is somewhere around the neighborhood of 25,000. They were actually taking the admissions folders of the students they accepted and enrolled and walking them over to the registrar's office before they implemented Knowledge Web. You can imagine how many folders that would be. Okay. Let us take a look at Knowledge Web. This is not Knowledge Web, this is Banner, for those of you who might be familiar with Banner here at the campus. This really could be any back office system that you have, any CRM system or student record system that you have. This is just an example screen of the Banner student information system. One of the things I mentioned is one of the primary benefits of our solution is our ability to integrate with your back office systems. So one of the basic benefits we can provide is the ability from these forms, if you follow my mouse pointer, down to my Windows tray, in this case, I would have the ability, I'm on Charles Smith's record, I would have the ability from here to launch and view documents associated with Charles's record. Great application of the ECM when you're on the phone with students, for heavy users of the administrative application every day, to be able to launch documents, in this case associated with a student, if you were on a vendor record or a purchase order record, to quickly launch those documents associated with it. Okay? And of course, they would be only those documents that you have the capability to view and have the security to view. Okay? So again, first basic integration into your back office system. So let's take a look now at the main Knowledge Web console. Okay, we're going to show you again how we're going to talk a little bit more about integration when we get into actually leveraging data from those back office systems, okay, into processes on campus, admissions processes, financial aid processes, and so forth. Okay. In Knowledge Web via Internet Explorer, Knowledge Web on Mozilla Firefox, Knowledge Web on Google Chrome. Again, your browser, your choice. Okay. If back on bring up Safari, I could do that as well. If you want to bring this up on an iPad, I could do that as well. We're completely web-based. So one of the primary benefits of that is, again, at institutions with many users like you have, your IT staff is not running around installing things on people's desktops. This is, again, all accessible via a URL. What that makes it very nice working from home. Okay? Or you're at a conference and you go to the cyber lounge, need to log in and do something. Yes, question?
Java doesn't run on iPad. Does it work on iPad?
Yes, it does. It does.
Not Java?
We are iPad compatible. Okay, as far as the OS and so forth, and we do. I could definitely get you some specific information on that.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go ahead and log in as one of my example users. I'm going to log in as B. Wilson. Okay. Again, one of the comments that we consistently get from end users and people that take a look at us, as well as other products, Knowledge Web, the interface is very clean. Okay, not very busy. It does really reduce, in the opinion of many, the training curve that happens as this is a product that is in use not just by administrators on campuses, but faculty members as well, all across the board. So let's point out first this drop-down menu I have in the upper right-hand corner of data entry admissions. Okay, the role that you have within Knowledge Web really is going to drive your overall experience. So again, in admissions, what documents I have access to, what workflows I have access to. Again, if you see here, I'm looking at student ID, last name, first name, and so forth. If I go into accounts payable, I'm going to have a bit of a different experience, i.e., I'm looking up here by vendor, okay, as opposed to by student. Okay, so really your role within Knowledge Web does drive your overall experience. But let's go back to admissions and just take a look at some usage examples there. And let's bring up a virtual folder, or some virtual folders, I should say. I'm going to type in Smith, very creative example name that I have in my demonstration account. And you will see that by typing in Smith, I have had a resolution on my applicant search of virtual student folders. And this, again, is pointing out one of the most basic benefits of an enterprise content management system as it pertains to student records. Okay? What used to be the manila folder with a checklist in front of it, okay, is now this. It's not in a filing cabinet, it's not on somebody's desk, it's not in the trunk of somebody's car, it's not on somebody's kitchen table at home. Okay? It's here and it's secure in a digital environment. The only way documents get deleted from the system is if you have the security to do so. Okay? And of course, we have full retention capabilities as well. So let's take a look at one of my example records, and that's going to be Charles Smith. Now, as I click on Charles's folder, please take a look at the query bar up above. Okay, query bar up above is now populated with the student ID number, city, state, zip, and any other information that is useful to me, okay, in my functional role on campus. Key point here is that we're integrating real time with, in the case of Ithaca College, would be Banner for the student records. When a student is created for the first time within any student information system, a virtual folder is automatically created within Nolij. Okay, the databases are real time and in sync. Okay? And that would be the same if you were working with a financial system, with purchase orders, and so forth. Okay? So when we look at the pick list of his folder objects, and we call these objects because, again, it's not just documents that we're storing. Nolij Web has the capability to store video files, audio files, AutoCAD, Excel, really hundreds and hundreds of file types that are out there and in use today within our customer base. So let me click on the application. Okay. What you'll see here is, again, the initial page. I've got one of 5 pages here. I can simply scroll down or arrow ahead to the pages. Point I want to make here is that how this document is rendering right now is via a JPEG. Okay. This is what enables us to be truly mobile, okay, is that you do not have to have, this is a TIFF, but you'll see here we have a Word document. I'll drop in a PDF later, PDF as well. You don't need the application running on your desktop in order to view the documents. If you have the security to do so, okay, you can double click and launch this up in Word. Okay. We also have support versioning, things along those lines as well. But again, just something to point out that this is really rendering as a JPEG really does make us ability to be truly mobile. And again, with any document imaging system, as you would hope, any content management system, the ability to rotate, the ability to bookmark specific pages is here, the ability to redact information, sticky notes, highlighting capabilities is all here and delivered with the system. And the ability to highlight, the ability to redact, the ability to place any sticky notes on any of these documents is all security driven. So you can have specific annotations to specific departments or specific roles, okay? All security driven. Our first group of customers that brought Nolij Web up in 2000, 2001, right after it went to market, really liked the aspect of that folder creation, that once a record was created in their SIS, i.e. Banner, PeopleSoft, DataTel, whatever the platform might be, really liked that integration as well. But some of the feedback that we got was, it would be great to not have to flip back and forth between the two systems when I'm doing something very specific, like an application review or a financial aid verification review. Okay? So what we did was we really took the integration within Nolij to another level And if you follow my mouse pointer down to the lower right-hand corner, you can see where I've clicked on Form. What we provided the ability to do is to display data from your system of record on campus directly within Nolij Web. So there's no need to be flipping back and forth. So again, enabling a content management system to leverage the data that's in your back office system like Banner, okay? And to do it in a custom sort of way. Okay? So for instance, we have several, at the undergraduate and the graduate level, we have several customers who have, this happens more often on the graduate level than the undergraduate level as far as admissions processing is concerned. But very often, faculty reviewers are involved with the actual acceptance and review of files and review of folders. Most folks, faculty members and so forth, don't really want to log into the administrative system on campus. They want a one composite view of the data that they need in order to make a decision on an applicant, okay? And this provides it for them. For an administrative user, the data they might need to make a decision on an application might exist in 5 or 6 different screens within the Banner system. Using these data forms, you have the capability to cherry pick the information from the screens you want and then place it on one form. So again, very useful to our customers in essentially enabling them to not only view data, but if you choose, be able to add a decision to this form, update the Banner system or your back office system. Show you another example of that when we actually get into talking a little bit about workflow, okay? Because that really is taking the digital objects, the data that you need in order to make a decision. Okay? It's with workflow that you begin to really see the benefit of the routing of these folders and the routing of these objects to the people who need to review them. Okay? Whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 individuals, again, Nolij Web enables you to take these digital objects and route them to individuals across campus based on your business rules. So let me clear this out. I'm not going to save those annotation changes. I'll clear this query. And I'll point out here that I have an inbox where my mouse is, where my little hand is pointing right now. The inbox I have in this workflow is called Validate Checklist. And the example that I'm using is my responsibility in an admissions office is to make sure that an applicant's folder is complete, okay, before it is routed on to the next person in the process, whether that is admissions counselor or territory rep, whatever the case might be. Okay? So based on those specific rules, I have folders that are routed to my inbox that I'm responsible for. These folders can end up in my inbox for a variety of ways, whether it's an alphabetical split, whether it's by program, by major. Again, it really is how you want to configure this. So we're going to bring back up Charles Smith. I'm going to open that same folder again that we were just looking at. Okay. And again, my responsibility in this workflow is to assure that the folder is complete before it is routed on to the next person in this process. Follow the mouse pointer again, I have a work complete button here. So when I press that button, it's going to tell me that I'm missing a teacher recommendation, okay, in this specific example. What we have the capability to do, you saw our capability to display data within Nolij Web. We also have the ability to update data within your back office system, in this case here at IC Banner. So as these documents are scanned into the system or they're dragged and dropped into the system, however they might be captured, we can actually update that document checklist. So as content is added, it can update checklists around specific processes, in this case admissions, but it very well could be a new employee type of example, where you're collecting a series of paperwork from a new employee on an onboarding process, if you will. So I'm missing a teacher recommendation. Again, I don't have my scanner hooked up here today, but again, as far as scanning is concerned, again, we support any and all nature of scanners, both high volume and desktop scanning as well. But again, many of our customers today are getting more and more of their documents via email attachments, and so forth. So essentially, let me just show you again, I have my system here as well. Wanted to point out to you that aside from just my drives here, desktop, C drive, and so forth, you would have the capability, users will have the capability to map an inbox within your email account. Okay, so if you want to drop email to an inbox within your Outlook or whatever your email system is, Google, whatever the case may be, you would have that right here. Then you'd be able to drag that in, the email, the attachment, or both, one or both, no problem. So as I look at the desktop here, I am going to just look in my demonstration account here, and I have some common application documents. So for instance, here, take that, drag it, drop it. Okay. Bringing up the file, full capability of doing this in a mass import fashion as well. So this is a common application document. One of the school forms, a teacher evaluation that came in via PDF. I know that it is your plan here at Ithaca, and as well as done at many of our customers. This is taken via the Common Application site. Students go, they apply all of these forms, and they come in mass into your admissions office via file, and essentially comes as a big, huge PDF. Okay? What Nolij can do is take the XML tag file that comes with that massive PDF and break it apart automatically by student and automatically index it. Okay? And I know for a fact, in talking with Tom and other folks in admissions, that this is your plan to do that here, as we do at many of our institutions that use Nolij Web in the admissions office. So taking advantage of that mass auto import. So in this case, I'm going to just right click, we're doing this manually today for demonstration purposes. Here are my document types. Again, you can lock the 5, I believe it's up to 10 that you have, can display here. You can lock your favorites. It'll remember the last 10 that you used. I'm going to go ahead and put this as a teacher recommendation. Again, I can email this document if I have security to do so. Recent addition that we have added to the email capability was to email this as a URL and place a time limit around it. Okay, so the URL would be active for 10 days. If you put it in an email to someone, you could put the time limit around that, or offer letters, things along those lines. So we're indexing as a teacher recommendation, and because again, we're in Charles Smith's folder, we've indexed it as a teacher recommendation, that document is now indexed as Charles. And it's letting me know that when I say the work is complete, they say, yes it is, folder's complete, it's going to route to the next person in this workflow. Okay? Again, using the example I just used today, probably realistic to a certain point, but in a real office environment, you're going to have somebody opening the mail, very likely, and doing all the scanning and all the indexing, okay, of these documents. So if this teacher recommendation came in and one of your student work studies put it as, okay, this is Charles's teacher recommendation, just indexed it, it would take the folder and automatically route it. Okay, so I'm just showing you this on a manual basis, but keep in mind that if this is happening somewhere else in the office, across campus, it's going to route the document, or it's going to route the folder out to the next step. So let me just go ahead, we're routing it on, and I'm going to log out and log in as another user who is, I know in my demonstration world, the next person to review this applicant. So you'll see here that my role has changed within Nolij. Okay, you'll see here on the upper right-hand corner, counselor review. So I'm no longer in data entry admissions, I'm in the counselor review area. So my inbox is first read. Okay, and again, there could be a variety of rules on why this hits my particular inbox. Is it by program? Is it by alphabetical split? Is it based on state? Okay, that a counselor might be responsible for. So as I look at Charles Smith's folder, I can open it up. Okay, review his folder, review the documents associated with Charles. And here is where, you saw when I looked at the form in my previous role, you saw a good deal of banner data, or student system data, if you will, there. Launching the form for this particular person, I'm actually seeing that I'm using this form for a rating or for a checklist. Okay? So here is where, and many of our customers do this, is not just display data, but also capture data in this. Okay? So this is actually a checklist that is, this workflow I'm showing you right now is actually in use at the University of Georgia in their undergraduate admissions area. So they have a checklist that they've created, and again, this is using it to save data, to save comments, not just display data. So again, this process could again move along to however many people you would have within a particular workflow. I'm just showing you a couple steps. I could show you a few more, but let's just show you the view from a higher level. And you'll see here that my role has changed yet again based on my login. Here's the director of admissions. And this is an example of a workflow owner. Someone who has not only validate checklist at first read, but they have access to every inbox along the way. Okay? So they could go into any of these inboxes, see the status of any of the applicants. We also have several management reports, okay, that are delivered with the system. Folders by inbox in the admissions process. So any of these workflow processes, you can see at any time, okay, how many specific folders are waiting for first read, how many are still incomplete. Okay? I can see if there are any bottlenecks from a managerial perspective in my process. Other reports, again, that are delivered, again, document activity by department. We have a full audit trail. Again, anybody that touches a document, views it, annotates it, again, that's all tracked. Major decisions, just another example report that's within the system as well. So again, taking a look not only from a day-to-day view of somebody working through their inbox, but really someone from a management point of view, taking a look at, again, an overall process.
I have a question.
Please.
I think that's probably your answer is yes, but I have to ask.
Sure.
When counselor put the ratings in the form, where that input is going to be stored? Is it going to go back to Banner at some point?
If you wanted it to update Banner, you could, okay? But that data would be stored within the Nolij database,
I see.
okay, along with the metadata.
Okay, so that then how do we can incorporate that data into the Banner? Is that somebody has to type in?
I think it's for you. Sure. If you wanted to incorporate the data into Banner, that would be your choice. If you wanted to capture comments, ratings, things along those lines, if you wanted to capture it in Banner, you could update a table within Banner if you chose to do that. Okay? So it's your choice on how you want to implement those data forms.
Okay, so
Okay.
that there will be a data extraction from Nolij and then dump into that.
It could be.
It depends on how we decide to implement it.
Okay.
It could be done in a couple of different ways, but the information ultimately can get into Banner directly without double
Double data
data entry. Yeah.
Thanks, Aaron.
I know that the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
I just wanted to
You
make
predicted it
sure.
right. Yep. Another aspect of the capability that you have within the system is optical character recognition, or OCR. Very useful. You can set it up by document type. In the event, again, that something is misfiled, it happens. You can do a full content search. In this case, I just typed in Wellman. I can bring up all the documents in the repository that I have the security to see that references Wellman. Okay. So again, OCR technology today is to the point where it works extremely well with machine print. Okay. Again, handprint, not so much. Okay. That's just about any tool out there. We actually use the Tesseract engine, which is the engine that's supported by Google currently. So something like this is also very useful for what we call loose credentials. So let's just clear this out. This is, again, in any admissions office, is the dreaded drawer. You get a transcript that comes in the mail. Never heard of the student. Student has no record, hasn't applied yet. Okay. So again, that drawer can now become a file within Knowledge Web, okay, where you can search on that information. So again, I want to filter on document text, so I can take this group, put in Smith, again, pares that list down. So then I can further match those documents, again, when student says it's there, I sent it last 2 months ago or so forth. All right. You can also sort by date and so forth. So again, utilizing the optical character recognition, and really in a daily business process, if I'm looking at, for instance, I'm in human resources. Right, I'm going to go. I want to do a content search. I have in my HR office or in an academic office, I have a full file of resumes, okay, CVs that I've collected for adjunct instructors that I've worked with before, or that, again, we have worked with in the past. I can do, so here putting in political. Again, I can see Charles Smith, resume, and then go to that, any resume, and that denotes that discipline.
I have a question about your search capability too. Those terms that you're searching with needed to be indexed, or that you are actually searching all the contents of the document?
We're searching all the contents of the documents.
Okay, so it doesn't have to appeal to be on the keywords in like some indexing.
Right. It's not a piece of metadata, in other words, associated with a document. It is, or an object within the system. It is truly taking all of the text and creating a searchable library, okay, within the product itself.
Okay. Then that is going to be my next stage, exciting question. That means that your database can be a text mining database as well?
Yes.
Wow.
And then you can also automatically index certain documents based on, so for instance, you can utilize that technology to say in a business function, for instance, you have an invoice that comes in, you scan the invoice, and somewhere on that invoice is the purchase order number. Based on the OCR being set to look for that PO number, it can automatically drop that into the appropriate file, whether that is the transaction record folder within Knowledge or the vendor folder. Again, full capability. So very, very powerful tool, again, within Knowledge.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
You were talking about workflows before, and
Yep.
people needing to attend to things. If you are sort of a marginal user of Knowledge and you're not in it every day, I think the answer is yes. But could I be notified that via email that something's
Good question.
waiting for me?
Yes, you can, and that's something I did not mention. I usually do. So when something hits your inbox, okay, within Knowledge, you have an email that's going to be basically sent to you. One of the functional enhancements that we will be adding to the product for the implementation here at Infinite is going to be the ability to further route that based on someone who doesn't touch it for a couple of weeks. So you put a time limit before it then routes to the next person. Okay, so that's a piece of that functionality you've requested here that is great and going to be part of the product. So. Yes.
In this list, I don't see anything related with facilities. I work in facilities,
Yep.
dating all the plans on campus, and I work the process to organize all the plans, specifications, transmittals, submittals, blah, blah, blah. Is this something that you'd be able to include?
You bet. You'll see here that I have a number of roles that I'm jumping back and forth in. Okay, so the average user of this product, okay, you'll only have one or two maximum to the average user. Okay, you won't be needing to flip back and forth between roles as I'm doing here. It'll just default to whatever role you have. To answer your question, you would have perhaps a facilities management role, okay, where we have customers that utilize Knowledge for just that. Non-student related things, non-banner related things, non-Oracle business related things. Baylor University in Texas uses Knowledge Web, and they use it to track the location of artwork across their campus. Location of the art of the piece, insurance information, donor information, and all of that is stored within Knowledge. So it's not, again, linked to a student record. It's nothing to do with the student record. Okay. So yes, full capability of doing that. So creating folders and databases. Yes.
Does this integrate with Active Directory?
It does. Several other authentication systems too.
Yeah, I was waiting. I had another question, so I might as well bring it up now because we're talking about that. From an IT shop point of view, I mean, I'm in IT, so have you seen colleges use it for their change control and workflow within the IT process?
Sure. Actually, at RPI, they actually use it to collect all of the. What's the word I'm looking for? All the points of access that someone has to various systems across campus. So again, in collecting paperwork along those lines. So I'm probably not saying it very eloquently, but they're using it for, again, to track, again, system access rights that a person or a staff member would have. So
in that process, we're trying to figure that out.
Exactly. And a great example of that is the onboarding process for an employee.
Right.
Having that, they need to get their ID, they need to parking information, whatever that case is, and someone could have a workflow inbox letting them know that new employees, they need to issue them ID cards or whatever the case may be.
Well, the other thing too is that we're trying to track, and I'll try not to hijack your talk here, but the people move around a lot within the organization, but then they don't necessarily have their rights changed.
Right.
So they had access to HR, but now they've moved to admissions. They still have access, and they shouldn't anymore.
Right.
So we need a mechanism to catch that.
Sure.
But if they're changing something in Banner, their status in Banner, it seems that we should be able to kick off a workflow.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
If their personnel record changes to HR to admissions, that could route that into someone's inbox in IT.
And then my staff would get something that says state change of security.
You bet. Yep. So it really is using that, again, it's not just collecting content, but also using the data and integrating with your systems to use the data to trigger activities. Like, there's a classic admissions example, there's the classic, here I'm at financial aid verification. I get a folder routed to my inbox when it's flagged for verification by the federal government or your own institutional policies. around verification. Okay? So again, just using an example here of, again, it's ended up in my inbox, could end up there because I'm responsible for A through K, okay, or I'm responsible for, again, however, I'm just going to open up a folder here, and I can see, again, here's the student 1040. Here is using those data forms to display data from the financial aid module. So in this case, again, for verifying information, I can display data from the financial aid system right here to match it up and to verify. So for instance here, I've got the student 1040 that I'm looking at. And again, I see my adjusted gross income 3322. In my system, it's 3233. I can make those changes and I can save it and commit it back to the financial aid system. So I've gone ahead and verified the information, updated the information. Have I made ISER corrections? Yes. Okay. Then in most financial aid systems, that record is then placed into the pending file to be sent back to federal processing. So again, doing this all right from here, now without having to flip back and forth in the banner and just simply going by folder by folder by folder, okay? Really getting those financial aid packages out to your prospective students, and again, getting that in front of them, which is, again, one of the biggest decision motivators of families today is the financial aid package at private institutions. And getting it out there quicker to the students so they can get a financial picture is critical. Okay, I've got a couple minutes left. Questions?
You just kind of, oh, go ahead.
How's your patching upgrade schedule?
Patching and upgrade schedule.
How often quarterly patches, security patches, emergency patches?
As far as how often?
Yeah.
As far as how often is concerned, I would say we probably do, I'm going to say, major point releases. Okay, like we're on 6.5 right now. We're on 6.5, actually 6.5.15. They vary. You know, some are just sent out for specific customers that ask for a specific, you know, enhancement, for instance, that might not be interested in, that might be of interest to any of our other clients. There are fixes, sure. We probably do, I'm going to say, maximum of 3 major point releases a year. So we'll do, we did 6.5 early this year. We'll do 6.6 sometime in probably late summer, early fall. I imagine we'll probably do 2. Okay? And usually there's can be anywhere from 15 to 20 point releases along the way, and those are usually small, just fixes. So, yeah. Other questions?
I have one more.
Yeah.
This could be a corporate strategy question, but given that your data structure is 100% a Java solution, your company is heading toward the cloud computing solution?
Yes. Actually, we do offer a hosted and SaaS model of a deployment, and we're seeing more and more interest in that in higher education. You know, we have a hosting partner, data center partner, so that essentially, that's all they do is host applications for education and corporate. So sure, I mean, we're very cloud ready as an internet-based application. So it's something that, again, that's available. So if we're looking to go in that direction.
Is Knowledge Web new? Like the web version of it? Because we have Knowledge on our campus already.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think it's more of a data mining thing.
Where are you from, John?
Utica College.
Okay. You actually have our transfer product.
Okay.
Okay. You have our knowledge transfer product, which
So
basically
yeah, it's something that you load.
it's
on
a data loading solution
Yeah.
for. I think you use it there for common application. I think Karen in your admissions office is who I'm.
Lisa Brock.
Lisa Brock, sorry,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that takes test scores, common application data, and loads it into Banner.
Okay.
Okay, that's what it is. That's our other product.
Okay.
And this is a complement, of course, of that product, because what to customers who use both Knowledge Transfer and Knowledge Web, the data goes into Banner, loads into Banner. The documents associated with, like the common application, can route and index directly into Knowledge Web. I've been told to please stop by my timekeeper in the back. So,
Thank you.
thank you all very much. If you have additional questions, just let me know.